Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Secondhand Smoke with Rob Coates. Now, before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment at the end if you enjoyed it. So, I want to take you back to 2020. I always go back a little bit, but I want to take you back to 2020. So, and even before that. So, I was raised a Democrat. I was raised vote blue no matter who. The Democrats work for us, and they put policies install that will help black people. So that essentially is what I was raised that the conservatives only look out for the white folk. A very binary way of thinking, but that's the way I was raised. So, excuse me. So 2020 comes around, and I just dealt with 4 years of the evil orange man saying nasty things on Twitter, and I was told that he was a Russian puppet. And let's see, what else? What was another one? He was just an all-around nasty guy and a racist. So I was ready to vote for Joe Biden in 2020. I didn't vote. I didn't vote for anyone because I, quite frankly, had my drinking issues still going on. And I was living in Minnesota at the time, and I wasn't registered to vote. And that's all excuses. It was mostly due to my drinking and procrastination. So I didn't vote. But believe me, I would have 100% hit the Joe Biden button. Now, the reason why I'm making this episode today is because if I would have done that, that would have been one of the most regrettable things that I, have done, at least politically speaking. Because what I'm going to show you today, I don't think that this man should be running for anything. I think that he should be at home resting. So I'll let him, our commander-in-chief, Mr. President Joe Biden, I'll let him tell you. Now, this clip, I messed up and I missed the first 2 or 3 seconds of it. But it says right at the top, I had 2 cranial aneurysms. So that's where we're going to start knowing that.
And they literally had to take the top of my head off. I mean, they take a saw and they cut your head off and go in to find the artery that is, one was leaking, the other that hadn't before it burst. So it's an absolutely true story. I said, what are my chances of getting off this table and being completely normal? He said, well, your chances of living are a lot better. 35 out of 100, 50 out of 100 make it. I might as well be the one. I said, well, what's the most likely thing that will happen if I live? But what? He said, well, the side of the brain that the first aneurysm is on controls your ability to speak. And I thought, why the hell didn't they tell me this before the '88 campaign?
Controls your ability to speak. Remember that.
You know what I mean?
So he had the surgery. He told you right there. I don't have to speak on it. They cut the top of his head open, and worked on some things inside of there. And let's see. So I went online, typed in, brain aneurysm symptoms. Excuse me. And I clicked on healthline.com, one of the first links that came up. And what are the symptoms of a brain aneurysm? Severe headache, dropping eyelids, seizure, impaired speech, double vision, numbness in the body, muscle weakness, decreased level of alertness, coma. So I guess that's the symptoms of it before you get it fixed. Risk of brain aneurysm when after repair, I guess. Behavioral changes due to neurological injury, blood clots, brain swelling, infection, seizures, speech and vision problems, stroke, and weakness. So Joe Biden had this surgery in 1988. He also suffered from a pulmonary embolism while recuperating and did not return to Senate for several months. So he had the surgery for 2 brain aneurysms in 88, and then he didn't have the best of recoveries. So, you know, so let's just move forward there. So we seen the symptoms of, what could happen if you have this surgery. And I, for one thing, have seen a little bit of confusion and a little bit of what was the other one? Speech. Of course, I would have a stutter on that moment. I have seen his speech decline a little bit, since that video. Like, if you look at older clips of him, he speaks a lot better than he does now. And of course, most people do age, but this isn't aging. This is cognitive decline. So let's just play a couple clips of him, unfortunately, stumbling and bumbling and things like that.
A campaign that's about negative attacks and the one about what we're for, because we cannot get reelected. We cannot win this reelection. Excuse me, we can only reelect Donald Trump.
We can only reelect Donald Trump. Play it one more time, Robbie.
That's about negative attacks and the one about what we're for, because we cannot get reelected. We cannot win this reelection. Excuse me, we can only reelect Donald Trump.
Okay. Messed up the same sentence 3 times back to back. We cannot get reelected. We have to reelect Donald Trump. Like, okay, if that's who you want me to vote for, maybe I will. I don't know. Let's see here. What else do I got for you? So this is him exiting a stage after a speech. Down here? Over there?
Mr. President, thank you. At the end of such a momentous event,
like, what are you doing,
thank
sir?
you seems kind of inadequate. But for all the millions...
Most people, when they're done with their speech, they exit, they wave, shake some hands on the way down, and you work your way back into the crowd. And this guy was supposed to take over from here. He doesn't seem to know what the hell to do. And I'm no political expert, but like I said, I've seen a person or two give a speech, and they finish up with the speech, the crowd's clapping. He maybe walks away from the mic, gives, and he's getting back into the crowd. This guy, he doesn't know what to do after giving a speech. He's got his arms erect in the air.
Mr. President,
then this guy had to talk to him, throw him off even more. He doesn't know what the hell is going on.
You seems kind of inadequate. But for all the
yeah, so what, Rob? He got a little confused. He it's nothing wrong with that. Now this one, I'm no political expert, but it seems like this guy is handling him, if you will, telling him who everyone is and who he needs to pay attention to and things like that. And I feel like this isn't normal. This guy, we're not supposed to be able to hear these microphones. The caption said something along the lines of Biden and Secret Service man caught on hot mic. So let's hear what's going on here.
Ramp.
We're going down the ramp.
And we have people lined up on the left over here. Some union leaders and workers. Hey, guys and ladies. Your mark is going to be the blue one to the left.
How y'all doing?
You've got a blue mark, and that's okay.
I'll stand my blue mark, and then I'm going to say load each one of you.
Yes, sir. I'll help you get started.
I'll help you get started. So he's telling him, get started. This is your blue mark here down at the end, and I'll help you get started. And he's going to help him through the crowd. Now, we weren't supposed to be able to hear that, but their microphones were on, and I don't know. I'm just a guy on the internet. I don't know, but it seems weird to me. You know, I don't think Obama would need. I think Obama would know who he's meeting with, and even Trump too. I think they would know who they're meeting with. Oh, hey, Bill. Good to see. Like he would have these things prepared, just like that guy was prepared. The president should be prepared, I feel like, but whatever. So another thing that bugs me about him is, and this is just a personal pet peeve, his brain situation aside, he tries to tell these jokes and they are just, they just don't land, and here's one. Now, before I play this, we all know the phrase, let's go Brandon, now if you don't know the backstory of Let's Go Brandon, I'll give it to you in the quickest form I can. So it was a NASCAR race. This guy named Brandon wins the race. I don't know his last name, unfortunately, but he wins the race at NASCAR. Now, there's a reporter lady at the end of the race. She's talking to Brandon, and while she's talking to him, the crowd from the arena or the racetrack, whatever you want to call it, is chanting F Joe Biden, but they're saying the F word, F Joe Biden. They're chanting that. Now, this is on live TV. She hears that and she goes, oh my God, would you listen to that? They're chanting, let's go Brandon. So she lies to you. And this is one of my problems with legacy media. She lies to you on live television that they're chanting, let's go Brandon, the name of the guy who just won the race. When in reality, they're chanting, excuse my French, fuck Joe Biden. Like, look it up. Type in let's go Brandon on YouTube and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. This woman lies directly to your face and tries to play it off as if they're chanting, let's go Brandon, in celebration for the guy that just won this race. So that's where the phrase let's go Brandon comes from, because it's really saying F Joe Biden, but they pretty much threw the right a nice little nickname, a nice little chant, let's go Brandon. So here's how he feels about it.
Roy, the podium is yours. I'm going to be fine with your jokes, but I'm not sure about Dark Brandon.
Oh, so that's his alter ego, I guess. See, he puts these shades on, and now he's Dark Brandon. And another thing that bugs me about him is he's just so old. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not against old people. I love old people, but just listen to the way he speaks.
Roy,
the
podium is yours. I'm going to be fine with your jokes.
I'm going to be fine with your jokes.
I'm not
Me.
Sure about Dark Brandon.
But Dark Brandon, he ain't going to like him. Like, mean Dark Brandon. He means business. Okay, sir. Here's another one of, let me see. Where is it? Because he tells another joke that I thought was pretty funny. Or not funny. However you want to look at that.
I look like a fool here in this interview.
You look good.
If I put a helmet on because it's a tough interview.
He goes, I'm going to look like a fool with this helmet on. I put this helmet on because it's going to be a tough interview. Like, I'm just going to leave it alone. Like, okay. So he's confused. He tells these crappy jokes. He sounds like he's taking his last breath half the time he's speaking. And another thing that bugs me about him is his obsession with the children. Like he really likes these kids, let's see. Let's start it off with this one, a light one.
All the kids under the age of 15, come on up here.
Okay, that was weird, but Rob, you could have took that out of context. What is that? He's just calling for the kids. Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, here we got him sniffing a black baby. Sorry to say the race, but that's what it is. It's a black baby he's sniffing. And then here he goes sniffing the white baby. And he's really diverse with his choices, so you got to give him that. What did he say? Don't tell mom something. I don't know. It sounded like he said, don't tell mom something. I don't know. But he just got this weird vibe around the kids, and I don't like that shit. Like, really touchy on her. Really grippy and touchy. Look at him. Not cool, bro. Not cool. Not fucking cool. Look at that hand. Look at that hand. Look at that hand.
No, not smile. No, wait till you're 30. Hey, Angel, how old are you? You're 12. What's your name?
Look at him. Petting hair, and he's just so goddamn touchy with these little girls. I like kids better than people. What the fuck is that? Bro.
Do you know what my dad used to say? His granddaughter.
I don't even touch my own daughter like this, let alone somebody else's. Like, bro. That is extremely weird. So he touches these kids. He sniffs these kids. Let's see. This is really recent. Netflix just came out with this show, American Born Chinese. And this is him speaking at, I guess, the premiere or something like that.
Possibilities of the community. And all the young people here. All of you. What an attractive group of kids.
He could have all the young people here, all of you. He could have just stopped there. But, like, look at how it seems like he trailed off of the speech. Like, he's got his speech prepared. And I doubt that part was in it. That was like a little ad-lib, if you will.
Possibilities of the community. And all the young people here. All of you. What an attractive group of kids.
What an attractive group of kids. Like, who the fuck speaks like that? Excuse my friend. Who speaks like that? What an attractive group of kids. I don't even feel comfortable repeating it. Like, ugh.
Turn that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at
what? One more time.
That turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again.
Ugh. What in the, like, what are you talking about, sir? Like, but Rob, that clip was taken out of context. I don't give a goddamn what the context was. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Kids rubbing your legs. Even if you're talking about your own childhood, nobody wants to hear that, bro. Can we talk about, like, what's going on with the country or what your plans are? Like, you up here talking about kids rubbing your legs and whatnot. Like, what the hell? And I'll just take you back to that, mentally take you back to that video where that guy was handling him. Now, a year ago, last Easter, I seen something really crazy on the news happen. So if you consider yourself Democrat, I'm sorry, but you're about to watch some Fox News. And this is why when I first started getting into the news, I started, back in shortly after he was elected, shortly after January 6th, I started getting into the news and keeping up on politics. But I would watch both sides. I would watch the MSNBC liars, and then I would watch the CNN liars, and then I would watch the Fox News liars. I didn't know they were liars, but I would try to watch all of them to try to get a wide perspective of what was going on, because I knew that there were bias between the two. Now, the bias also puts a block on what you will see. That's why you got to watch both of them. If you're going to watch mainstream media, you got to watch all of them, because if you only watch the left, they're not going to tell you anything bad or anything sketchy that happens with this guy. For example, if you only watch MSNBC, you may not know about his cognitive decline. You may not know about his brain surgery. You may not know about, I don't even know if Fox talks about his weird obsession with kids, but you may not know these things watching these legacy media, especially the left, because he is part of the left and they have an incentive to make him look good because they don't want Trump or anybody from the right, but definitely not Trump. We know that. So they don't show you anything bad or sketchy that happens with this man. But once again, I want you to remember that video where that guy was walking him down that ramp and he's like, you got to shake hands with this guy and do that and this, that, and the third. Because here's another video where I'll just play it. This was on Fox News last year, not this Easter, but last Easter.
Of bizarre moments at the White House Easter egg roll. This was just one of them when President Biden answered a reporter's question on Afghanistan when he was suddenly whisked away, get this, by the Easter Bunny.
Pakistan should not, and Afghanistan should be.
Oh, the Easter Bunny, Mr. President.
Now, let me give you a little bit of context. So we had just departed Afghanistan, which some people would argue was a disaster. We just departed Afghanistan, and I will tell you here, it was bad. 20 years wasted because we pretty much forfeited this war. And it caused a lot of what's going on today with Ukraine, or it kind of led up to what's going on in Ukraine and Russia and potentially Taiwan. But him and our military, I'm not going to blame our military because he's the commander in chief. So they follow his rules or his law. But we completely botched the Afghanistan departure. We lost 13 service members. It was horrible. And maybe I'll go into that on another date. But so these reporters are asking him about Afghanistan or Pakistan or something like that, and this Easter Bunny, the Easter Bunny, decides he wants to intervene and block our president from answering questions. Hey, I want my president answering questions about whatever the fuck the reporters feel need to be answered. Like, even if you're not in politics, I don't want an Easter Bunny getting in the way of, the news, the president. But watch this.
Awkward moment comes as The Hill reports President Biden told former President Obama that he plans to run for a second term despite his lagging poll numbers. Kennedy, I wonder a lot. I get asked a lot who's running the country.
Are they going to show the Easter Bunny again?
The president what to do. There are far more sinister theories than the Easter Bunny, so I guess I'll take it. I don't know.
I know the president, and you would know this far better than anyone. No one has proximity to the president. Like, no one can just reach out and touch the president, get within inches of that person, because that is the most powerful person in the world. So how is the Easter Bunny right up in his grill, waving in his face? And why is that not a security threat? And why was that giant rodent not tackled by the Secret Service? And if the bunny was a high-placed operative, I want to know who that was. And obviously that was that's a minder. That's part of the
Look, dude in the
shame.
back's
That's,
like, what the fuck
one
is
of the
that?
actors in the Truman Show trying to distract.
Like, well, I'll just play it from the top so you can see it again. Shout out to Kaylee at Fox, smoking hot. But here we go.
At the White House Easter egg roll. This was just one of them when President Biden answered a reporter's question on Afghanistan when he was suddenly whisked away, get this, by the Easter bunny.
Pakistan should not, and Afghanistan should be.
Oh, the Easter bunny, Mr. President.
Over here, sir. Over here. Don't talk to those people.
The Hill reports President Biden.
What the hell is that, bro? That is not cool. So leads you to that theory that I have one, and you see they're even saying it on Fox. Who the fuck is controlling this situation? They even made a joke. I don't think it's the Easter Bunny, but like who's pulling the strings here? And we've always thought that there was somebody behind the scenes really calling the shots, really, it's not really up to the president, as far as things go. But now it's more obvious than ever. The man's in cognitive decline. He's getting lost coming off a stage. He's falling asleep at, meetings. Yeah, that happened. At a G7 meeting where worldwide leaders were there. This man was on a national stage, on the worldwide stage, sleeping. They give him, every once in a while, they give him little cheat sheets with people's names that he has to call on for questions. He is not in charge of himself, let alone for this country. And this really frustrates me because I had no idea. I once again, I didn't really watch the news that much back in 2020, but you would think if I knew about Trump being a Russian puppet or Trump being what's the other one? Racist, or if I knew, which both of those things, I don't know about the racist thing. I don't know how that man feels in his heart. However, I have never seen a clip of him saying anything racist. I will say that. I've seen him say things that are racist, and I'll pull that up after this. I've seen Biden say some pretty questionably racist things, but I've never seen Trump really say, and I'll look harder. I'll put my word on it. I'll look for Trump saying some racist things. But, they had me convinced about I knew all these things about Trump. That's what I was saying. I knew that he was a Russian puppet, not true. I knew that he was a racist, potentially not true. I knew all these nasty things about him. But I had no idea that his opposer had a brain surgery. I had no idea that the opposition, had this obsession with children, and I also didn't know that he was in such cognitive decline. So what I'm saying is the legacy media and mostly the right, because if I got my news the left, so the MSNBCs, the CNNs, those guys. CNN's supposed to be middle, but we know the truth. I'm upset with them because they did not highlight that at all. They highlighted how bad Trump was, how racist Trump was, and all these other things, but they didn't even mention that this guy likes to sniff kids, that this guy that he's lost in the sauce, mentally, and they didn't tell me any of that. So that really frustrates me. But so that's why you gotta watch all three, both sides. If you're going to watch legacy media, which I don't recommend at all, so that means the big guys, the CNNs, the MSNBCs, if you're going to watch them, you got to watch Fox too, because you're not going to get the full scoop from just one side. You're not going to get the full scoop from either of them, even if you watch them all 24 hours, because they only decide they have people up top who decides what they get to report on. That's why one of the most influential people on the right was just kicked off of the air, Tucker Carlson, because he pushed the envelope. And he pushed it too far, and they took him off of air. You know, and he was saying true shit. You know, but they took him off the air because he was too truthy, if you will. He kept it too real, if you will. You know.
One being least racist.
So this clip here was made by the folks at the Daily Wire, and I'm sure they wouldn't mind me watching this video with you. So shout out to the Daily Wire. But he's going to go to Harlem, and he's going to, here, just watch it. He's going to Harlem, and he's talking to people that live in Harlem, New York. So let's check out what happens here, because I found this pretty interesting, because I could have been one of these people.
Really? Wow.
I'm Ami Horowitz, and Democrats will have you believe that President Trump is a raging racist and Joe Biden is a champion of the black community. Well, I'm here in Harlem to find out by playing America's favorite game, Is This Racist? So I hit the streets to find some Biden-supporting Democrats to play the game. Let's go. Okay, the game is this. I'm gonna give you a quote, and you're gonna tell me how racist that quote is, from 10 being most racist, 1 being least racist.
I've been around. I went to all-white high school, so I'm ready for this.
Referring to Barack Obama, he said, first mainstream African-American who is bright, articulate, and clean. How racist?
10.
Who is bright, articulate, and clean.
Yeah, that's up there. That's like gotta be like a 10, a 9. Yeah, because it's like you're implying that most black people, most African Americans aren't that way.
That's just like, that was just like, you know, moderate racist.
It's kind of racist. I would say probably 9. Just because somebody's articulate and clean and they happen to be black, you know, that's not a reason to say it like that. So, you know, I would say that on a scale
On the racist-o-meter.
8.
That was a 7.
A 7.
Yeah.
So still racist,
That's still real.
but not crazy racist.
Yeah, not crazy, like, not huge.
Right.
I'd say that's like a 9.
That's a 9. Wow.
That's a 9. That's a 9.
So he said, if you don't vote for me, talking about black people, then you ain't black.
That's 10. You don't vote for me, you're not black.
That's my favorite Biden quote. If you ain't bloke for me, you ain't black.
I would say that one, definitely not as high as the other one.
Okay.
It's definitely up there,
Yeah.
but I would say that's like a 6, 7.
A 6, 7.
6.5.
6.5. I like that. I like the accuracy on that.
Yeah.
The exactitude.
And for someone to imply that is a bit like, who are you to tell me if I'm black or not? So yeah, I'd say
Right.
that's about a 10.
Right.
I'm gonna give that a 8.
An 8.
That's just a dumbass comment, right?
Referring to inner city busing, bringing black people to white schools, he said that would create a racial jungle. I don't want my kids going to a racial jungle. How racist is that?
It's like a 9.
By doing that, you're creating racial jungles. And I don't want my children
That's a 10.
going to racial jungles. Off the
That
bat.
was bust. I understand that.
That brother.
That's a 10.
Straight up.
Straight up.
I would say 10.
That's a reader racist quote.
Yeah.
How racist?
Definitely, I would say 10 too.
10.
That's a 10.
Why would you say something like that? That's like pretty much saying that's a jail.
If you had a 20, it would be a 20.
That was as racist as you
A
get.
racial
That's
jungle.
in the book. Like, if you want to be racist, you got to say that line.
Like, who said that?
You might as well just
Right.
say the N-word. Yeah, pretty much.
In referring to inner city Baltimore, he said it's a rat-infested hellhole.
That's 100% true. It is.
So not a,
a lot.
so not a racist statement.
Not a racist statement at all.
Like him, 1.
You're living in poverty and your schools are no good. Is that a racist statement?
No. Not whatsoever.
I would say probably 1.
That's true.
Look at 3. That's true. See,
That's
these are
true.
facts. So you can't put it in a racist category.
If it's
She's
true.
stating something that's really basically facts.
Our inner cities are a disaster. Is that a racist statement?
True.
Saying that, but it's not racist. I would say probably true.
Been like that forever.
Okay.
I don't feel it's a racist statement. It is something that's real that needs to be changed.
Probably, I would put that as zero.
The quote about Barack Obama being bright, articulate, and clean, Joe Biden.
Really? Wow. And that was his VP, like, wow.
Yeah, a little surprised?
Yeah.
The quote about you ain't black, you don't vote for me was Joe Biden.
He said that?
He did say that.
He did.
Wow. Wow.
You seem blown away.
Yeah, because it's just like, as someone who's, I'm not gonna lie, an open Democrat, like, you would expect that when you represent that party, you wouldn't feel comfortable saying things like that in the open and on
Right,
so
right.
You have so many people, specifically black people, that are backing you, and you just felt comfortable saying something like that.
Saying you don't vote for me, you ain't a black person, Joe Biden.
He did say that. I remember that. That went viral. Yeah.
Joe Biden again?
Joe Biden again. Joe Biden said to Charlemagne the God.
Wow.
And the last quote about the racial jungle with busing was Joe Biden.
It makes me fearful.
Everybody knows that Joe Biden's racist. Why?
Does everybody know that?
I think you should know that Joe Biden ran 3 times for president and he's racist. He never won unless it was the actual black person on his ticket. So.
Because most people were shocked to hear those quotes that came from Joe Biden.
Really?
Yeah, most people here did not know that.
It's very sad.
Do you think the Democratic Party has taken the black vote for granted?
Definitely.
All right. So, I thought that was interesting because you go to regular people just like me. I didn't know he was saying this reckless ass shit. I thought that was pretty interesting how they did that. Yeah. I don't know. The guy's losing it. He says racist shit. He likes these kids. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but he ain't getting my damn vote. I'll tell you that much. Here, let's see who he thinks I should vote for.
A campaign that's about negative attacks into one about what we're for, because we cannot get reelected.
You cannot get
Win
reelected.
this reelection. Excuse me, we can only reelect Donald Trump.
Fair enough. Fair enough for me. All right. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment, and share it with a friend if you really do like it. If there's somebody that didn't know Biden says these racist things, or they didn't know his cognitive decline, or even the thing about the kids, I think that should piss everybody off. I mean, a cognitive decline is a huge risk. If I can find these clips on the internet, so can Putin. Putin knows this man is weak. And that's why Putin is acting the way he is now. It's just funny that as soon as Trump's gone, we botch Afghanistan, and then a whole new war starts with this Ukraine thing that we're completely involved with. I'm going to talk more about that pretty soon here, because I think we need to be updated on what's going on over there. But, I can't vote for a mentally ill guy, and I'm not here to make fun of him. This is not me making fun of an old person. And, I have respect for him. He is still our sitting president. But I think that we gotta not only vote for somebody that's more mentally stable, but we gotta do our research before we vote for people, because he would have got my vote. I was ready to just simply vote against Trump. I didn't care who it was. It could have been, it mostly was a blank spot, and that's kind of what he is a blank spot. But, it was an anti-Trump vote. And I think a lot of people were doing that. And this is what we get now. We get this guy who's mentally slipping. He's sniffing kids, and he's just reckless, you know. Here he is struggling to get his jacket on. And his wife's just watching. I'll help you, honey. He's just old, bro. And so is Trump. They're both old. We need better options. Alright, got his jacket on. Now we're rolling. And now we're rolling. Oh! God! Damn it. Dropped my glasses. It's just old, you know, and Trump's old too. You know, we need better options. We need somebody. Biden's 80 years old. With his mental state and his age, he shouldn't be working. I wouldn't trust him to work the cashier at the local gas station. I wouldn't trust him to work a, you know, what do you call it? A drive-through window. I certainly wouldn't trust him as my Uber driver. But yet we have this man running the most important job in the country. Excuse me. And that's the president of the United States. Like, it just blows my mind that he got his way into this position, and I was going to vote for him, not knowing this stuff. So I told you why I'm not personally voting for him. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm not. And we got to get out of this non-binary way of thinking, because I say I'm not voting for Biden, and I think Trump is a better option. And I did get a lot of people saying, you know, to me, oh, I didn't know you were a Trump supporter. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, you support Trump. That's not what that means. It's not A or B. And that's why this country's so fucked up now, because everyone can't agree with their neighbor just because they may be on the right side or they may be on the left side. I think reasonable people have values that they believe on both sides. You know, I believe in the Second Amendment. However, I don't think that pot should be illegal. You know, those are opposing viewpoints. You know, that one of them is left and one of them is right. And, you know, so I'm not necessarily a conservative, but I'm definitely not a liberal either. I'm just a Rob. I'm just me. And I have different views that just so happen to fall on both sides, and sometimes in the middle. And sometimes I don't know the answer because I'm not an expert, but that's okay. You know, and even if I was a right person, that's okay too. That doesn't mean you have to hate me. You know, but we're caught up in this, oh, if you're on the right, you're bad. You know, if you're on the left, you're bad. Like, we got to stop doing that. You know, because that's how people from the left, oh, fuck Trump, I'm going to vote for Biden. And now look at us. Gas is higher than hell. I've never felt more insecure about my future ever with this man in office. You know, he's asleep at the wheel, it seems like. And whoever is pulling the strings is getting their way. You know, and if you're against people pulling the strings behind the scene, then maybe Trump's your guy, because that's why they don't like him, because he's not with the string pulling. He's going to go against the, as he calls it, the deep state or the swamp or whatever. Like, those people are real, and we need somebody in office that's going to contest those people. That's why, besides the fact that he says he's going to end this war in Ukraine, which I think is going to lead us to World War III if it's not ended, you know, that's why, two of the main reasons why I would vote for Trump over Biden, besides the cognitive decline, besides the sniffing of the kids, the touching of the kids, the weird obsession with kids. You know, that's why I would vote for him. And I feel like that's a pretty reasonable that doesn't mean that, oh, you're conservative and you must want this, and you don't think women should have their rights to breathe and all this other stuff. Like, no. So, just watch who you're voting for. Don't vote blue no matter who. Don't vote red until you're dead. Let's see who the better option is, and then go from there. But this guy's running in 2024, and in my household, he is not the better option, so he will not be getting my vote. And I meant that. So I think that's all for today. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you've seen something that is new. And, I hope you vote accordingly come 2024. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And I'll see you next time. Have a good rest of your day, guys. Bye.